Hi and welcome to the week 33 update on the rarest birds in the Netherlands and the Western Palearctic. For my Dutch viewers, know that the Dutch subtitles are available through the settings. We start off this week's list with an honorable mention of a barred warbler, as the first ones are entering the country. Extra special was that the sole record of the week was a bird found inland next to a migrant watch site in Limburg. It was twitched by a lot of people. At number 10, we find the broad-billed sandpiper again, with one bird found at the uninhabited Wardenijl Griend, which is only accessible by wardens who monitor the birds around the island. Both rare golden plovers were also seen this week, with the Pacific golden plover still visible from the recently built large watchtower at the Lauwersmeer, although at quite some distance. I still have to check out this watchtower for the first time, because from here you can see a part of the Lauwersmeer which otherwise isn't visible. The thing holding me back is the fact that filming from there won't deliver the best shots. At number 8 we find the American golden plover, but this time not a bird from the Lauwersmeer and surroundings, but one found on the opposite side of the country by Len van der Zande, a birder who also found this week's number 1 bird, but more on that later. At number 7, a new entry with a buff-breasted sandpiper found by Jacob Bosma at Ruidhorn. I went for it the evening it was found, but failed to relocate it. Turned out, the finder had added a slightly wrong location on his report. Despite this, multiple birders checked the entire area and the bird wasn't found. A couple of days later I tried it again. It was seen throughout the day, but was absent in the evening again. So it could be the bird spent the evening at a different spot. On my third try, during the afternoon, I finally managed to film it. This week, only one lesser Scaup was reported. This one in the North Holland Dunes, at the same location one was spending the summer last year. So a good chance it is the same bird as here on screen from last year. Then a quick break for the target species for next week. Based on statistics, the upcoming week is one of the best weeks for little crake, dotterel, Palearctic shearwater, long-tailed skua, buff-breasted sandpiper, red-necked phalarope, wryneck, barred warbler, ortolan bunting, red-footed falcon, citrine wagtail, tawny pipit, purifeld warbler, and it also marks the beginning of the warbler season, with good chances of finding greenish warbler, western Brunelli's warbler and Arctic warbler. Also noteworthy is that the remnants of Hurricane Ernesto have hit Europe last night. This storm could have brought over another batch of Nearctic waders, waiting to be found over the weekend. August is a typical month for yellow warbler in the Western Palearctic, but based on the trajectory of the storm, maybe a bit too far-fetched for the Netherlands, but maybe the Western Isles will strike gold? Then back to the waders. At Friday evening, a Dowitcher was found by Mart Janssen at the tidal mudflats on the south side of Texel. As the underwings were photographed, short-billed Dowitcher could be excluded, making this the 59th record of long-billed Dowitcher for the country. There are also 8 unidentified Dowitchers accepted, but still 0 short-billed Dowitchers. It's about time we get one of those. We stay on Texel for another good wader in the form of a great snipe, found on the evening of the 14th by Koen Stork and Tim Schipper. The next morning, possible this bird was seen briefly again, but it flew off soon and wasn't seen again. Here is some footage of Rodney Stolk. He would let me use it, since I have lost my footage of the sole Dutch great snipe I saw in 2015. Still haven't been able to twitch one again. Let's hope we get another tame one soon. At the third spot we have a pygmy cormorant, picked up while flying over the dunes near Amsterdam on the 17th. It only has to cross the North Sea to become a first for the British Isles. For the Netherlands it is her 10th record already. At the number 2 spot we have a greater yellowlegs, found by one of the most famous Dutch birders, Arjan Dwarshuis, who was birding in the Groene Jonker when he found it. He could watch it for almost 40 minutes, but just when the first twitchers were arriving on scene, the bird was flushed by a Western Marsh Harrier, never to be seen again. This is the first record after the bird that stayed for a whopping 19 months between October 2010 and May 2012 in Zeeland. Before we get to the number 1 species, some news from the Western Palearctic. On the last day of last week, it turned out the canvasback from Essex had returned. This week another black-capped petrel was seen flying past Estaca de Rarest. This one was videoed, but sadly not many details are visible. Also, another South Polar skua was seen during one of the silly pelagics, and it turned out on the 10th one was seen at Cornwall. On the 13th, a Hudsonian godwit showed up in Britain. Here I have some footage from Nigel Cheatman, who runs the Backyard Aviary Adventures YouTube channel. If you want to see a vlog including the species, then make sure to check out his channel. I have a link in the description. The 17th saw the 6th little blue heron for the Azores, which is the 7th for the Western Palearctic, as Ireland got one in 2008. On the 18th, the 2nd ever Hudsonian whimbrel for France was found at the Camargue by well-known Western Palearctic twitcher Pierre-André Crochet. On the 15th, a group of 4 birders from Zeeland consisting of Len van der Zande, Korstian Beke and Jaap en Jos Colijn entered the top of Holland for a 2-day birding trip focusing mostly on waders. They started off at the Lauwersmeer, where they found this beautiful aquatic warbler, the first I ever managed to film. They then headed towards Harlingen and birded their way back to the Lauwersmeer again, checking the waders at high tide roosting spots. Just before 9 PM, they arrived at the ferry terminal of Holwert, where they found the 2nd ever Western Sandpiper for the Netherlands. The combination of a clean white belly, slightly smaller size than the abundant dunlin, and a dunlin-like bill directly points towards a western or long-billed semi-palmated sandpiper. But note the lack of a thick tip to the bill and the necklace appearance. Also note how this bird has molded most of its mantle feathers already, whereas semi-palmated sandpipers molt far later in the year. Also, a noticeable difference, which I haven't read anywhere but is striking when observing both species in the field, is the way of foraging, where this western sandpiper stands in one place, picking ferociously in the mud. And now, check the way this semi-palmated sandpiper is foraging. It forages like a plover, walking and picking. Lastly, note the more chest-heavy build of the Western Sandpiper. You can check out the vlog about this bird by clicking the thumbnail here on screen.